Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to use Lumion and how to make a render with Lumion. So in the last video I showed how to basically go from Rhino 3D to Lumion, and then now that we're in Lumion we can close the Rhino software and then we can just do everything on Lumion, right? So yeah, so how do you move in Lumion? You've probably gone in and going, oh, how do I move? So, for those who have played the video games, this should be pretty easy for you to figure out. But those who haven't, so basically, if you hold right click, you should be able to pan your camera like this, right? And if you use WASD, so WASD. So these are the movement keys. And if you hold shift while pressing WASD, WASD, and it basically makes you run faster, right? So yeah, pretty cool. But once you're done with that, let's look at the materials. So on the bottom left, there are these tabs. So there's content library, materials, landscape, and weather. So if you go on the materials, it shows up as nothing, but you just have to simply click on your objects. So as I mentioned in the last video, you basically want to make sure that all your layering in your whatever software you're using, like Rhino 3D for example, to be separate and have the materials allocated to them. So, which in this case, I have like, pavement, asphalt, grass, soil, and then stone, bricks, timber, marble, and concrete. So, the way you want to change them, so let's see, let's go to this guy, let's double click him, well, not double click him, uh, click this guy, and then go to materials, and then basically you can just get whatever materials you want. So there's a landscape and there's materials. So for landscape, it's basically more like, grass and rocks and asphalt and stuff that's more exterior, right? And there's even water as well. So you can change that to water if you wanted to. So let's see what that looks like. That's gonna be something interesting. Um, yeah, okay, cool. Uh, yeah, and then materials, if I want to change it to stone, for example, right? There is a bunch of, different kinds of tools you can use, really, which is great because Lumion has a huge library. Um, and go to cobblestone, maybe, and then I'll change it to this one. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically how you change the materials. It's very easy, right? And once you're done, all you have to do is click this tick button here, and it basically says, yes, I want this all to be that way. And then it just saves it. There you go. And then now you're back to being in the normal screen, right? So after you've done that, let's have a look at the landscape. So in landscape, pretty self-explanatory, I think. Paint. So if you go to paint, basically you can change your landscape. So there's a bunch of different kinds of presets, right? So if we want to go to, maybe the desert, just American desert, so something like that, and then if you go to clovers, that's the one I had before. It's more like this, right? And then within the landscape tool, you can actually change the textures you want to paint on the ground. So let's say there's this one, and it's leaves, and there's a whole bunch of different ones as well. You can basically just left click or hold left click, and it just slowly populates the ground with this texture, like a paintbrush basically. And of course you can really just edit your brush sizes and speed and etc. But let's not get too bothered in that. Let's see, there's water as well. So water, you can hold left click and drag like that, and it gives you a water thing, and you can move it up and down as well, right? But I don't want any water there, so I'm going to delete it. So if you want to delete it, press this delete bin and then just click this red button. There you go. Yeah, and then there's ocean as well, so you can turn this on if you want. Probably not. But there's a water level, so if I bring this up to I think above, oh, there you go. So now the entire street is flooded. and we don't want that, so I'm going to turn this off. But yeah, there's a bunch of different settings you can do, to modify it based on how you want it, right? So I'm gonna turn this off, and then let's go to weather. So weather is pretty self-explanatory as well. I mean, based on where you live or based on where your site is, um, just simply change it, the sun direction as well as the sun heights and the steepness, and then the brightness and the cloudiness, and the wind speeds and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and then you can also select the clouds or what kind of clouds you want, and if you want, you can also turn on real skies, right? So it gives you this kind of look, right? So it's more realistic. Um, and within real skies, there's also like a bunch of different kind of skies that you can choose, right? So it's clear, all different kinds of moods, which is really great. Um, yeah, but I'm going to leave it as that. I'm not going to mess with it. I'll turn this off for now. Um, and then let's go into content library. So this is basically where all the fun is in Lumion. This is where you get to do all your populating, right? So I actually put this down beforehand, but I'm going to show you how you can do that. So let's go first to nature. Um, so, and also make sure you go to place. So if you want to place something, you have to click the place button. So yeah, there's a bunch of different things you can do, really. A bunch of different kinds of trees, flowers, all sorts of things, really. Huge library. And just for fun, I'm going to maybe get some rocks. And let's put some big rocks in, right? So there you go. And maybe some tiny ones as well around it. Yeah. And then maybe some grass as well. So maybe some weeds. Let's see, maybe this one. And maybe some these grass types as well. Yeah, pretty easy, right? And if you want to move them, click this button here, and then just simply just click on any of these things you want to do, right? And if you want to bin them, very easy. Click this bin icon, and you can basically just click on, I want to get rid of you, and I want to get rid of maybe you as well, and then pretty easy. So let's go to people. So people, make sure you hit the place button as well. You see there's 3D men and women, and then there are all these different kinds of things you can do. There's even animals as well if you want. Let's put a pigeon down, for example. There you go, having fun. Farm animals, even fishes as well if you want. And then there's some more stylized options as well. Yeah, but the main difference between, let's say, 2D people, for example, to these ones is that, well, obviously it's 2D and 3D, but it's also because they don't really move. So let's put this person on, right? And then there is people 3D static, and this guy, he's going to stand like right here, for example, and he's not going to move. But if I go to, let's say, women 3D, and then put a person walking, as you can see, the walking or the doing the movement, right? As you can see, they're facing the wrong way. I don't want them walking into the street like that, so I'm going to rotate them. So let's hit this button and then turn them around like that. Yep, and then just move them like this. Perfect. Then maybe in transport as well, I'm going to put something, maybe, there's a bunch of different things, as you can see. It's just, you just really have to play with it. There's such a huge library. I don't think even I know everything that's in this, but there's a lot of cool stuff. Let's put in a sports car. Let's put in, I don't know, maybe, yeah, maybe this. There you go. Very nice. And let's turn this guy around. And then move him here like that. Cool. And let's move him there. And let's see, objects. street lamps. You can put these down as well. Um, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's all sorts of things you can do, even effects as well if you want. Fire. I'm not going to do that. Um, leaves. Oh, leaves is pretty nice. You put this down, and yeah. Apart from that, once you're satisfied with what you have, so I'm pretty happy with this. All you have to do if you want to make a render is go to the bottom right. So there's all these different options here. So obviously you can save it as well if you want. Uh, and then go to photo. So yeah, and now your screen should come up with something similar, right? Maybe not like this because I've pre-set it up. But basically, if you want to, give the render a nice effect, all you gotta do is go to the left, top left, and then you can just change the style. So, there's a bunch of nice presets that Lumion has to offer, and they're quite useful. So let's see, let's go to daytime, and it's basically just done something like this. The screen looks a bit fuzzy, but that's because it's just trying to make sure that it doesn't, while you're doing this, it doesn't crash your computer. So it doesn't put it to maximum settings, which is really handy. I'm going to change it back to realistic. And there you go. So on the left here, as you can see, there's all these different kinds of options, right? So the ones in the blue are the ones that come with the preset. And then of course you can also add some in if you want. So if you press this button here, FX, it comes with all these different kinds of things. So these are the features. So these are stuff that people use a lot. Um, you know, and you can really just have a sift through these and just see what you really want to do with it. Um, so yeah, I have already put some in. So I put in 2D, 2-point perspective. So that's pretty nice. And if you want to set your camera down at human level, all you have to do is go to this button here, say set eye level. There you go. And if you want to change the focal view, you can also do that. So, do something like this maybe. Or if you want it to be a little bit further away, you can do that. And you can also change the rotation. But you can use your mouse as well to do it, so it doesn't really matter too much. So yeah, and if you want to save, say for example, if you want to save this screen here, you can pretty much just saw the camera like that. So I want it to be like this. And let's say for example, if we move to the right here, and maybe I want to shot from this angle, like that, maybe, right? Set to eye level, and then let's change the focal view to maybe a little bit more, something like this maybe. Store the camera. So it basically just acts as different kinds of screens, right? So this one has the realistic preset, this one doesn't. So let's remake that. So let's go to realistic, and then let's add a 2-point perspective. Maybe not. Let's go to featured 2-point perspective. There it is. And then yeah, you can also change how drastic you want the 2-point to be, but obviously you want it to be maximum all the time. But pretty happy with that for now. Let's go back to this one. So if you want to make the render, just really easily, just press this render button, and then it will just do its thing. So you can also put in save what do you call it? These depth maps, normal maps, reflection map, lighting maps. So if you want to edit the render further, you can get these extra layers of tools to use in your editing. And of course, you can also just render that however size you want it to be. So yeah, that is all. Thank you for watching the video.